Hello everyone and welcome to my art channel. This is my first video in English and I'm incredibly excited to start creating content in English on YouTube. For those who don't know me, I'm Asil Hajame, an artist who made the decision to follow her passion and dreams by dropping out of college while studying architecture. I'm genuinely thrilled that you're here watching my videos on my art channel. So hi! To be honest, ever since I started YouTube, I've wanted to make videos in English. The idea of reaching audiences from all over the world is simply amazing to me. It's truly fascinating to be able to showcase my art and voice with a touch of my personality to people worldwide who are interested in me and my art. However, I've always been a bit insecure about my English skills since it's not my first language and I'm not a native speaker. But you know what? Who cares? I genuinely want to share my journey with you as I'm a beginner artist searching for my artistic voice and striving to build a career. Perhaps we can relate to each other and create a lovely, friendly community here together. Before finding my artistic voice, I used to primarily draw realistic portraits and landscapes as a hobby since childhood. However, now that I've committed to being a full-time artist, I'm exploring various painting styles and subjects to find what truly resonates with me. Interestingly enough, I've discovered that realism doesn't suit me as well as I initially thought, even though those who know me may find my art resemblant to me and assume it's realistic. I can't fully express my emotions or convey myself as I wish when working on realistic pieces. Therefore, after completing this painting, I've decided to experiment with more expressive works and step outside my comfort zone by exploring different styles because I figure out I wasn't that happy and passionate while drawing this landscape. By doing so, I hope to discover my true artistic voice. As I share my journey with you, I want to be honest, realistic, and transparent. I'll openly discuss my mistakes and share my experiences along the way. Let me start by sharing what I learned during the creation of this painting. I began by making an underpainting on a white canvas using burnt sienna. However, I made a mistake by drawing the outline of the original reference before applying the underpainting. As a result, the graphite layer got washed out, and I had to be as gentle as possible during the underpainting process to keep those outlines visible. And after completing this layer, I immediately redrew the outline with oil paint using burnt umber. This way, the outlines won't disappear forever. This painting is my first attempt on such a large canvas, measuring 80 by 120 cm. It's quite a big scale for me to work on a realistic piece. Regarding the materials, I'm using oil paints from Winsor & Newton as well as Le Front Bourgeois. My brushes are from Winsor & Newton, including the Da Vinci Student version, as well as some affordable options I found at the art store. I started the painting by working on the sky. I mixed titanium white with ultramarine blue and added a small amount of yellow. This represents the initial layer and serves as the foundation for the entire painting. Typically, I work in layers and take my time, as I used to be, and now I'm focusing on the blocking out the major elements for the first layer. While working on the clouds, I got caught up in the intricate details of each individual cloud. It was then that I realized I was too close to the painting. Stepping back a few paces allowed me to see the bigger picture. During the initial stages, it's crucial not to get fixated on the details, as no one will examine the painting as closely as you do. Instead, everyone will appreciate the overall composition After completing the distant mountains, I noticed they appeared overly saturated. To give the impression of distance and depth, I added a few brush strokes using Prussian blue mixed with titanium white, along with some highlights. The next step involved painting the middle part of the landscape, which features vibrant green but isn't the most saturated area in the painting. This region consists of numerous hills, lush greenery, trees, winding streets, and even some small farms. To depict this, I focused on painting the base color and the ground color, which is a deep saturated green. During this stage, it's essential to pay attention to capturing the values of the reference photo. Remember, at the blocking stage, it's all about the bigger picture, the ground color, the basic shapes, and establishing the overall composition. I primarily used a mix of sap green, ivory black, and burnt umber. Finally, for the last part, I filled in the blocks with yellow ochre and a small amount of cadmium yellow hue as the base colors. Upon finishing the first layer, which serves as the initial block-in, I moved on to the modeling stage. This involves adding shadows, highlights, and bringing the painting closer to its original reference. Initially, I wasn't satisfied with the appearance of the first cloud. It appeared too dark and didn't align with the overall vibe I wanted for this painting. Therefore, I began lightening up the clouds and added numerous highlights. As someone accustomed to painting and drawing realism, I wanted to experiment with looser brushstrokes. I focused on each brushstroke individually, reducing the blending that I'm used to. However, I don't think I executed this technique as well as I hoped. Stepping outside my comfort zone and letting go of the need for perfection is a challenge, but I believe that through future artworks and paintings, I learned to embrace imperfection and worry less about the end result. Regarding the mountains, I felt that I had already achieved the desired modeling in the initial stage. I had added blue hues, shadows, and highlights to shape the mountains. At this point, I focused on adding details such as tree outlines and distant villages. During this process, I continued to experiment with looser brushwork, especially in the second layer of the mountains. Painting the small details in this artwork was a lot of fun. For instance, there's a tiny house in the corner, and it's delightful to include hidden, highly detailed subjects within such a large canvas. While painting this part, I frequently stepped back, recognizing that it was a small detail compared to the overall scale of the painting. Spending an excessive amount of time on such small detail would be impractical since no one will truly see it. Creating texture in this painting was a challenge for me since I'm used to blending everything smoothly. Expressive brushstrokes that convey texture are unfamiliar to me. To overcome this, I experimented with different kinds of brushes, including bristle brushes and synthetic brushes in various shapes. For example, I used a synthetic fan brush to create the appearance of distinct grass, exploring different hues, values, and tones. Moving on to the trees, I first blocked in the initial layer using sap green and ivory black. Initially, I aimed for a realistic depiction of the trees, given their prevalence in the painting. However, I discovered that if I allowed myself to paint expressive, non-realistic trees, it would result in a more beautiful outcome. Although I watched a tutorial on achieving the most realistic tree depiction, I found the process and steps unappealing. And after trying to paint the trees realistically, I figured out that the level of patience required to achieve that level of realism wasn't something I possessed. I'm not entirely sure why I feel this way, but I no longer feel connected to realism as an artist. I aspire to express myself more freely, although I didn't fully achieve that in this painting due to time constraints and the need to adhere to my deadline. It's fascinating how, as an artist, you may believe you have a specific personality or artistic voice, only to discover that it no longer resonates with you as you grow. It's essential to search for something that feels missing in your art and explore new avenues, even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone. This process of self discovery is beautiful and provides an opportunity for personal growth and exploration. And I'm really excited to delve into this new aspect of myself in the future artworks. In the final stage of the painting, I was unsure how to approach the planting area, as it required a different color scheme and texture. Exhausted after painting for 10 straight hours, with only 2 hours left before my upcoming travel, I decided to experiment with brushstrokes. I used a larger brush loaded with a big amount of paint to make the process faster. However, I didn't particularly love the outcome, as I felt the brush strokes needed more experience and the combination of the realism in previous sections and the yellow and orange in this part didn't blend well. It seemed to me like two different paintings merged together. Despite this, I'm grateful for the overall experience, which taught me new techniques and provided valuable lessons. Even though the result wasn't what I initially envisioned, I'm really appreciative of every experience and the opportunities they bring. However, as an overall, I like the painting and I cannot wait to hang it at the entrance of my house. As the video comes to an end, I really hope that you enjoy it, and I encourage newcomers to share where they are from in the comment section, as I really look forward to building a lovely community and exploring our artistic voices together. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you didn't yet. as your support means a lot to me. Well, goodbye and have a happy painting.